After a trip overseas to Italy, the Integrity Ignite Series returns to the United States of America and takes us back to the roots of stock car racing at the Five Flags Speedway. We've got ourselves over 25 drivers registered for the ninth race of the 2023 B season, and this is the Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150 from Pensacola. As it stands, Matthew Thunor is going to be the fastest man on the timing charts with a 17.229 being the pole position time to beat with 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining on the timing charts. Great to have you all aboard live on FTN with a doubleheader tonight. Not only will we be traveling to, of course, Pensacola for the Five Flags Speedway, but in addition, the Schumacher Racing League goes to Talladega for their own 200-mile event, and it's going to be two great races of action here on FTN. I'm David Croy to bring you all the action here from Five Flags, an iconic short track venue, home of the Snowball Derby. And tonight, with only 2 races to go in our regular season, this is one of the most important races of the campaign, no matter have you done all season long, from multi-time race winners to drivers who have still not found success this time around. This second season of Integrity Ignite Series competition brings a different atmosphere. A lot of these drivers, most of them, have experience from the most recent season. Of course, our inaugural season before the summer break, but now coming off of our inaugural season on to our second, the number 40 machine of Sean Carmody, one of the few drivers who does not have that early year experience. Most of these drivers know what it's like when we get close to the championship campaign. Alec Daffin, one of the drivers fighting to stay inside of the bubble here. We'll show you a bit more about your bubble battle as the night goes on, and he's going to have a great qualifying run up to 4th with Cody Smith in the Next Level Racing number 18 all the way up into 2nd. Then from there, you're also going to see Sean Carmody still on the track, only 2 drivers still going, and that's with 5 minutes remaining. So we are waiting on Trevor Trago, Jacob Fife, and Alan Rowell. Rest of the field has taken at least 1 qualifying lap, and it looks like rest of the field has taken all at least 2. Cody Griffin only took 2 qualifying laps. The rest of the field got up to the maximum of 3, and there's still drivers taking some extra times at the same time. And looking at this field, we got 22 drivers with a qualifying time back down to Nick Tarbuck. Forrest Smith is in 21st, and Jonathan Giervon is in 20th. Brandon Bernhardt's right now in 19th too. So there's some drivers who desperately need a successful run tonight that don't find themselves up in the front of the field. However, we're looking at drivers like Cody Smith still planning to execute in this number 18 team. They were part of the Octane Series playoffs, this number 18, and Cody Smith, unfortunately, a first-round exit, and still came home with a victory last week at the Texas Motor Speedway. So looking to go for 2 consecutive Integrity Racing League victories, and as they come across the stripe yet again, Cody Smith still the only driver on the track right now. Trago, Fife, and Alan Rowell keep us waiting, but for all intents and purposes, qualifying is effectively over, and we're now going to wait for the rest of the action tonight to get on its way. 150 laps of racing, and we only have about 5 minutes until we get to that point. And now, as we see Cody Smith still taking time, the rest of the pack already set to go at it here in Pensacola. Your starting grid is effectively complete. It looks like 22 drivers will be the number that take times tonight, and the number 18 for Next Level Racing, Cody Smith, just thousandths of a second away from getting that pole position. Looks like he just came up a bit too short compared to an incredibly competitive field, still starting firmly inside your top 5. So without further ado, with of course, qualifying effectively over here. Drivers still loading in. Might not be enough time, though, to get some extra qualifying in. We're going to try to find out what's going on, as it looks like Trevor Trago just registered. Looks like now the number 37 machine set to go on the track. So is Alan Rowell. Alan just made his way on a pit road, and there might be another driver opting to take a time here before qualifying is concluded. Alan Rowell going to be the man at the top of the board. Of course, if he gets that pole position time quicker than 17.229, he still does not have a lap set just yet. Trevor Trago setting a lap time in the next few minutes if he can get in. 3 minutes on qualifying's timing until it's all over. 22 drivers have taken a lap. Cody Smith still second of which. How's about we ride on board with this number 18 machine as we have time to spare before the racing gets on its way. And looking on board right now for Cody Smith's number 18, he's still taking extra practice laps. Nobody else in the field getting this experience in the long run. Tonight, it looks like it's going to be all daytime skies of the half-mile circuit, and Cody Smith, unlike the rest of the field, getting a bit more out of this qualifying session, pushing as hard as he can with a short run in mind, seeing what he can do with the bumpy track circuit. It's not going to be a very even track circuit here in Pensacola. You'll see he's going up and down the track, moving up and down, not only because he's working the high side and the low, but also because the tires are feeling the surface, and they are not going to be as smooth as a track, say, like Bristol, where it is all banking carrying you through. You don't have as much to rely on here in Pensacola, and as a result, Cody Smith feeling the wear of the tires as the laps go by. That time by was an 18.205 for Cody Smith, 1 second off of his qualifying time with a 17.245, so still, qualifying is going to be not only about the hot laps for some drivers, but for Cody Smith, getting that experience as the tires continue to burn up. Chevy Camaro number 18 machine still second with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Michael Stroll going to be third, Alec Daffin fourth, Justin Morton fifth, Kyle Cooper then sixth, and Rob Ackley then in seventh, with Chad Mikas now in eighth, and Anthony DeBarro returning once again to the field after missing Monza. He'll be in ninth, and DeBarro, one of the multi-time winners this season, who's firmly locked in to making it into your playoff for the 2023 B Tour. Cody Smith, 16 thousandths of a second off your pole position, and it looks like it will be confirmed no other drivers save for Alan Rowell on the way, and Allen looking to take the final qualifying time as he makes it around the track for his first flying lap. And the number 43 Spam machine going to make it around the track for the first time tonight. That's Alan Rowell getting to grips with the track. That was a 19.685, 23rd on the board right now. Looking to make some improvements here on the second lap as Rowell makes it through. Going to get loose that time by. Doesn't look like he's going to get much more of it. So Alan Rowell sets the final qualifying time, 23rd on the timing sheets, and at the stripe, almost going to lose it entirely, comes up the track, and that will be it. Alan Rowell jumps up into 22nd on that lap, and just like that, qualifying has concluded. It's going to be Matthew Thunhorst, the top man on the timing sheets, and qualifying is over for the Five Flags Speedway. And the qualifying concluded. Now time to find out who is starting where with 2 races to go in your regular season. This is the Victory Formation Podcast 150, and it's time to find out what's going on with your pole sitter and the rest of the 25-car pack here in Pensacola. It's Matthew Thunhorst, the top man on the board with a 17.229, and Cody Smith not too far behind in position number 2. Cody Smith going to be right there, 17 thousandths of a second, missing out in qualifying. Outside of row number 1, 17.245 for Cody Smith, and then from there, Michael Stroll going to be third, rounding out the podium with a 17.268. Number 38 machine finds himself right beside the number 48 of Alec Daffin. The Shaw Racing Products 48 machine coming off another victory in the Saturday Night Truck Series, looking to go back at it here on Mondays on FTN. 17.294 for the men qualifying fourth on the order. Justin Morton then going to be fifth, 17.310, and the round out the drivers inside of the Sweet Six, Kyle Cooper, next year defending winner, as Kyle qualifies with a 17.323. Rob Ackley then going to be in seventh inside of row number 4. It's a 17.331 for Ackley as he finds his domination intimidation racing teammate of Chad Mikas outside of row number 4 in the 8th position, 17.337 for the driver of that number 25. Anthony DeBarro going to be inside of row number 5, and he's going to find himself in 9th, returning, and his most recent win of the campaign came at North Wilkesboro, another short track on the schedule. 10th is going to be held then by Blake Gordon, and 11th will be for Sean Carmody, with Don Stevenson position number 12, Boomer Logan 13th, and Brian McFerrin then in 14th. Going to be at the Cody Griffin team, top 15 for Cody as he finds himself there with a 17.416. Alan Dobbs then getting outside of row number 8 in the 16th position, 17.425 for the man in the 05, as Thomas Bressy's then inside of row 9 in position number 17. Casey Shoes going to be there in 18th with a 17.577, and Brandon Berghart's then 19th, with Jonathan Gearvon rounding at the top 20 with a 17.958. Then from there, Ford Smith is going to be 21st with Alan Rowell, the final time lap and 18.845 only to be finally pushed ahead of Nick Tarbuck with 19.163 for Nick Tarbuck. 24th goes to Jacob Fife, and 25th will round out the field with Trevor Trago here in the Five Flags Speedway. That's your starting grid for the post-victory Formation Podcast. And with drivers still taking extra practice laps here, halfway down, halfway to go. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remain on our second practice charts here. It's a very short 5-minute stint. And then the drivers get back on the way. Matthew Thunhorse, your man who gets it done in qualifying, pole position for the number 8 machine. And so far in second practice, he's 11th on the charts, with Anthony DeBarro being the fastest man in this warm-up stint. So it looks like the drivers are going up and down the order here in second practice. Not going to be indicative of the hot lap results. It looks like drivers getting to grips with racing around one another once again. And right now for Thunhorse, he's going to see Trevor Trago spin up to the top of the track, avoids it quite easily, of course, staying right down low. And we've seen these drivers having some struggles at short tracks this season. North Wilkesboro, namely the exit of turn 4. Took a lot of drivers out last time we went to Wilkes County, and we're hoping not to see that once again. 150 laps of racing, so quite a lot of time to work with here for drivers like Thomas Bresci, who's coming back after not winning at a road course, which is the first time that's happened all season long. He's been the class of the field at those road courses, twisting and turning. Justin Morton got it done last week, and now for Thomas Bresci, even though he's firmly inside of our championship picture with his most recent victory, the Talladega SuperSpeedway, the Exalted 24 wants one more win before heading in for a chance at the championship. Right now, the drivers who are eligible for the 2023 Grand Prize, courtesy of Next Level Racing, Thomas Bresci leads those point standings and finds himself perhaps on cruise control to make it in for the grand prize at the end of the year. Reminder, the Next Level Racing prize goes out to the driver who is the most consistent, the highest point scorer in not only this season, but the inaugural season of a Night Series competition. It's a year-round prize, not a seasonal prize. So Thomas Bresci's been the best man all year long, and he has himself up in the point standings in the 2023 category. He's up there as well for this year. Nearly got it done last season, but DJ Stagner came home as the inaugural champion, and we're looking to have another driver come through as the champion this season, with Stagner no longer present in the last few races. So he's not expecting to be part of the second run of the class here in the Ignite Series. Now with 15 seconds to go, Anthony DeBarro, who's been one of the best drivers this season around, he finds himself the fastest in second practice. Going to be Anthony DeBarro, the fastest man here in warm-up. Practice is over. Qualifying is concluded, and now time for your defending short track winner to try to go back-to-back amidst a very, very strong field in the penultimate race of the regular season. And with 150 laps on the table, Anthony DeBarro already going to be on the track. Michael Stroll up there as well. And tonight we're going to see a lot of beating and banging, of course, as it is a short track. But hopefully we'll see a few less cautions than we did last time we went at it in North Wilkesboro. So this is going to be an addition based on what we saw in Wilkes County tonight. If there are too many cautions on the day, we're expecting that count to be between 3 and 5. We will see single file restarts for the remainder of the event. So single file restarts, as opposed to when we went racing at North Wilkesboro, will be an option tonight, so drivers are going to hope to keep it clean to avoid the single file lineups every yellow flag. For Matthew Thunhorse and Cody Smith, they've got the best position to avoid all the action and chaos up in front of the field, front row, with Michael Stroll then third and Alec Daffin then in fourth, and Justin Morton rounding out the top 5. All of these drivers up ahead of the field know one thing here: they want to stay out of trouble, especially if you're fighting to get inside of the class here for guys like Daffin, Cody Smith, guys who do not have wins yet on the tour. If you don't have that checkered flag to this point, you're still fighting to make it in. Anything could happen. We could see new race winners as well, and with 150 laps on the table, you don't want to find yourself in ruin on the first. We've seen early cautions at short tracks so far this season and the year as well. Bristol we went to last season, DJ Stagner got the win. North Wilkesboro came down to a last lap run to the finish. It was a bump and run where DeBarro came home as the winner, and now Matthew Thunhorse, after a successful run at the road courses, looking to find himself further up the podium for a race win this time by. And for the iRacing official pace car, 1 lap to green, Matthew Thunderst and Cody Smith set to lead us down to the green flag to get things going in the post-victory formation. Podcast 150. Going to be Matthew Thunderst, Cody Smith, Michael Stroll, and Alec Daffin, with Justin Morton rounding out your top 5. And today's race sponsor, Kyle Cooper, then going to be in 6th. The number 73 machine up on the high side here, looking for his best run of the season against the field of race-winning caliber talent. It's going to be Matthew Thunderst who leads us to the green flag in the Five Flags Speedway. We're underway here in Pensacola. And a lap into the racing, Matthew Thunderst jumps out big. Then going to be Cody Smith and Michael Stroll right with each other. And just like that, already going to be the leader, getting far away from the rest of the pack. Going to be a hornet's nest from there on out. And you can see as they come across the line again, Rob Ackley right there with DeBarro. Not to mention Chad Mikas is going to be there too, as they all come through 3 laps into 150. Mainly side by side. No signs of 3-wide racing just yet. It's a narrow half-mile circuit here. And even though it isn't a paper clip like Martinsville, the distance still makes up a large part of how these drivers race this track. There's not a lot of speed to go around, so the more you hit your marks, the faster you get lap after lap, the better you will race. And it's evident already Matthew Thunderst is running away from guys like Smith and Justin Morton. Morton goes down to the bottom side, has himself down low on the 18 of Cody Smith. Cody finds himself up top, still trying to work it on the high side with Alec Daffin now low as well. Looks like 2 drivers breaking away. Michael Stroll, Matthew Thunderst, with Thunderst advantageous, and from there on out, Justin Morton going to be 3rd, and Alec Daffin then in 4th. Cody Smith going to round up the top 5, and you'll see Rob Ackley then in 6th, with DeBarro 7th, and Kyle Cooper in position number 8. Chad Mike is going to be 9th right now, side by side with Blake Gordon's number 13, and Gordon rounds out the top 10 with Sean Carmody not too far behind. 10 drivers, of course, in that top 10 going back to Blake Gordon, and nearly 10 laps in already, getting to grips with how it's going to drive here in Florida. It's not often we see this Five Flags Speedway on the schedule in the Integrity Racing League, an opportunity to get back to the road courses after North Wilkesboro. And of course, with our regular season so soon it'll be ending, it's going to be time to get back into that championship mindset and go for gold in the title hunt. We've seen many great races this season. Of course, some races without cautions. We saw Watkins Glen had no cautions, same for Twin Ring Motegi. We saw some beating and banging nights like North Wilkesboro. Even Monza had its fair share of yellow flags to kick off the day. And now I'm getting the opportunity instead to watch some short track racing from a not often visited track in National Stock Car Racing. Of course, late models and other very, very regional talents come through. You most often see late models, legends, machines, and whatnot, but you don't often see stock cars of this caliber, the NASCAR National Series and the Xfinity Series, making it through for a trip down to Pensacola. Tonight, though, in iRacing, we get to experience that feeling with the best in the business here in the Night Series. Alan Rawell down at pit road, and he's got a blown motor already. Alan Rawell blows up his motor, and it looks like no caution flies, but his night is effectively over. Yellow flag's going to be not out for Alan Rawell, but he brings himself down to pit road with a busted motor, and the 43 is already struggling to kick off the night. And looking once again at Alan Rawell here, the number 43 might have had some trouble inside the cockpit here. Let's find out what's going on. And the trouble goes down to the wall, and catching the retaining fence is going to blow the motor for Alan Rawell. His night is effectively over. On that note, Rawell is going to go around, and nothing more he can do. Smoke billowing from the motor. He comes down a pit road, and just like that, Alan Rawell far out of contention, with Matthew Thunderst leading the way so far, but Michael Stroll is gaining, and Stroll right now looking to get it done inside that number 38, making it through nice and smooth in the AC Delco Chevrolet. Domination Intimidation Racing already with 1 win on the campaign so far, getting it done at Atlanta with a 1-2 finish. First, of course, Michael Stroll, and Chad Mikas with his career best finish, then of second. Michael Stroll right now working that bottom side a bit better than Matthew Thunderst. You can see getting lower into the corner. That's exactly what you got to do if you're trying to make up time, find that edge. Every inch, every tenth of a second, everything matters when it comes down to longer runs if we're going to have ourselves in a long racing groove. Right now, Michael Stroll is setting himself up to remove the imperfections and race that much better as the day goes on. And right now, Alan Dobbs is going to be right behind the battle between Cody Griffin and Thomas Bressi. Cody Griffin going to slot back in behind the number 24 machine of Bressi. They're fighting now for position number 13. And Bressi has it. Cody Griffin wants it once again, but it looks like the 3 machine going to fade back just a bit more. 17 laps in of 150. The Exalta Chevrolet going to go down to the bottom side. Cody Griffin does to try to make it by. Just can't get it there, as you'll see up ahead. A bit more side-by-side battling between Chad Mikas now and the 13 of Blake Gordon. Still going to be double file here. Not a lot of other drivers able to pull that off quite well. Looks like for the drivers who are still side by side, going to be much more of a challenge, of course, but also you see a lot more wear and tear between Gordon and Mikas. They might not be leaning on each other here, but they're going to see trouble behind them. Chad Mikas is going to leave Kyle Cooper behind, and Kyle barely holds on. Down to the bottom side, Sean Carmody goes. That's the Chevy Camaro number 40, working down to the low side here, and you'll see the number 40 go right through and make it down to the bottom. Just like that, the Harley-Davidson Chevrolet takes it up into 10th, but there's some trouble behind, as you'll see the pressure mountain, and Boomer Logan's going to get loose, but Boomer saves it and keeps things going. Boomer Logan in the National Guard number 94 machine, guarding position until it's too much to handle. Just like that, he'll fade back a bit more to be side by side with Alan Dobbs. Roughs up the track there with Dobbs. They'll both go high. Dobbs goes higher, and just like that, Boomer Logan going to keep his spot in 14th with Don Stevenson now chasing the number 47. For Don Stevenson, this number 47 crew, their best results this campaign in 2023 have come in the Octane Series. Winning at the Charlotte Roval, fantastic racing at, of course, our next race after that at Kentucky. But ever since then, this number 47 machine is hoping not only to have some good runs on the Monday night campaign, but come home with a championship in the Octane Series. And we'll tell you this much, if you're watching us on FTN tonight, no reason not to be watching the Integrity Octane Series, as they're now down to their third to last race of 2023. 28 races into the Octane Series schedule. We head to Homestead, Miami for the Racing for Breast Cancer 200, and this could be another fantastic race. 134 laps, 200 miles, and the iconic Homestead Miami Speedway sets the stage for the first race of the round of 8. And I'll tell you this much right now, for Don Stevenson, this number 47 now going to be mired back in traffic. Of course, Boomer Logan holding on to that spot. Kyle Cooper going to be having a bit more trouble here, now in 12th with Griffin all over the back bumper. And taking a look off the deck lid here, the number 73. Here's on board with Kyle Cooper, your race sponsor for tonight's event and the Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150. Take a lap on board with the number 73 as he's still defending with Cody Griffin. And watching live and on board here with Kyle Cooper, one of the 2 men who bring you on Spotify the Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150. Kyle Cooper and Mike Bogensberger bringing you all the action for the latest football news. No matter the team, no matter the division, the caution will fly, and the yellow flag's out due to Brandon Bernhardt. Just like that, first caution of the day, 27 laps in. Let's take a look at what just happened here. As Bernhardt looks to have suffered from an exit of turn 4 that once again catches a driver out. Look at the back of the field here, Brandon Bernhardt battling for 23rd in the order. Now he'll fade back to 24th. Watch what happens. Looks like getting into the wall with the number 81 machine for the first time, then getting loose through 1 and 2, but locks it down once again. So the trouble not through the first 2 turns, but instead as they go around through the final. 81 machine of Brandon Bernhardt on his own, and a single car spin will cause the yellow, backing it down to the front stretch, and the yellow flag flies. Safety caution for Brandon Bernhardt and his number 81, as the caution's now out 29 laps in out of 150. Matthew Thunhorst leads the way, and now he's going to come down to pit road and let Alan Dobbs take the top spot. Pit road is busy, and all of a sudden we have ourselves some competition beneath the track. Thunhorst's going to get on the way, but it's going to be 3 drivers fighting for second off of pit road, and it looks like Alan Daffin gets it, and Daffin barely makes it out. How close was that? Not quite sure, but the Shaw Racing number 48 is now going to be sent behind Justin Morton and Michael Stroll too. So Daffin, thinking he had that spot immediately after, is going to take the second spot and immediately be sent back. So Alan Dobbs leads the way. The rest of the field is still catching up. Take a look at that photo finish off pit road here. Matthew Thunhorst, looks like it was also involving Alec Daffin and Cody Smith. Instant replay will show you how close they were on the way out of pit road. Taking our close-up drone camera right to the action, and it's three drivers fighting for one position off of pit road. Look at this. Thunhorst gets away quickly, but then Alec Daffin is coming through, and Justin Morton barely gets the edge over Michael Stroll. Then there's Alec Daffin there, and that's how they'll line up, and that's why they'll line up in the order they're going to be in. Alec Daffin really thought he had it there and comes out of pit road second, but it doesn't work out. It's still going to be Alan Dobbs leading, though, and Matthew Thunhorst then in second. Now it's going to be Alan, first man on the board. Matthew Thunhorst then second, Justin Morton third, and Michael Stroll then in fourth, with Alec Daffin fifth and Cody Smith then in sixth. 31 laps at a 150. So far, so good for Dobbs and Thunhorst. And right now, one driver staying out on the track. Everyone else has taken at least one pit stop on the day. And it looks like right now, Alan Rowell, 23 laps down after a first run of about 27 laps, does not go so well for that 43 team. 32 out of 150. Michael Stroll lines up side by side. This is our first caution, so we will not see a single file restart as a result. And hopefully we'll get more runs like this as the caution is extended slightly. Alec Daffin reporting about his tire wear says 95, so not major wear after that pit run. However, still worth it enough when it comes down to how long we went to go down to pit road anyway as a precaution. You don't want to be caught out on older tires. We have 5 tire sets, so if we had to run for the rest of the race, we have about 120 laps left on the table. If you had to run, say 25 odd laps, and you had to come down to pit road every time around, you could still make it with a tire set, not to spare, but the newest tire set, the final of which on the car. So tires should not be a big issue tonight. We have 5 sets to play with here. Alan Dobbs opting to be a bit riskier and try to hold on to his best stuff later in the event. The Nightfall Graphic 05 machine will lead him down as the iRacing official pace car drops in. It's going to be Dobbs and Thunhorst leading the way. Green flags out, led by this 05. Dobbs is going to be side by side with Matthew Thunhorst. Advantage goes to Matthew that time by. Just like that, the 8 machines out ahead. And you'll see Michael Stroll is going to be side by side with Justin Morton here, pushing and shoving, mostly double file. And as we saw the first run, Matthew Thunhorst beginning to break away with some 3-wide racing. Stroll keeps it down low, and there's almost no room to pick it apart. 3 wide at the line for the AC Delco Chevrolet. Michael Stroll right there where he needs to be. And it looks like now he's got himself a lot more to work with in terms of the drivers ahead of him, juggling positions back and forth, up and down, defense, offense, make of it what you will. It's already going to be a harder start for these guys as the caution flies again. Brian McFerrin, and the motor's destroyed. And McFerrin, who seemingly is alone on the track, brings out the yellow flag. Huge wreck for Brian McFerrin. Yellow flag is out indeed. Take an instant replay, find out what happened here. Brian, as it looks like the number 7 gets destroyed on the exit of turn 3. Taking it back an extra lap to find out just what happened, getting a bit more information in the matter here. And you'll look, number 7 machine of Brian McFerrin, keeping it on the bottom side. Nothing seems to be out of sorts so far. But then you take a look at how it goes from a perfectly clean number 7 to a destroyed motor. Forrest Smith gonna tap him down low. And there's no worse place to make that hit. That's just bad luck and bad timing. Wrong place, wrong time. And Brian McFerrin, he's going to see the worst of both worlds there. Instant replay inside the cockpit will show you there's nothing more he could have done. And he gets pulverized on that entry to pit road. Motors destroyed, the front end is gone, and the caution will fly for good reason. That's not just a safety yellow, that's a stall of the vehicle on the track. Absolutely no way he's going to get back on the racing circuit today. Race is effectively over for Brian McFerrin, and two race killers so far. Rowell and McFerrin both destroyed motors. Yellow flag is out once again for the second time. 39 laps in of 150. Matthew Thunhorst leads for Justin Morton, and just like that, two of your road course juggernauts going from Italy last week to, of course, Pensacola, Florida for this week's racing. And just like that, the yellow flag's out for the second time after Forrest Smith and Brian McFerrin make contact. And in any other part of the track, that would have been a harmless slide down to the bottom of the circuit. However, in that one specific point, you go from a harmless slide to the pulverization of a racing vehicle. When you hit that tire barrier, there's nothing you can do. Unfortunately for Brian McFerrin, I don't think there's going to be any chance for him to come back on the track at any level of pace. He's still on pit road here, but I do believe there's nothing more that can be done. Very unfortunate for McFerrin and for Forrest Smith as well. I'm sure that was not intentional between the two of those drivers, but either way, getting caught up in the action, a racing incident, is going to bring out a major incident in itself. The yellow flag is out, 40 laps in of 150, and we are set to go back green next time by. Double file restart once again, second caution of the day, so we should not be seeing a single file restart within the next few cautions. If we get any more though at this rate, we might have to start thinking about it. 41 laps in, we've seen two cautions and mostly a long green flag run to get us to this point, but all of a sudden, a huge wreck. So we'll see how long they choose to wait on getting those single file restarts in. Single file restarts are set to, in the case of a very chaotic race, sort of help the drivers out and get them going without the fear of over-aggressive driving, as everyone will be on the same line. You will have to wait a little longer for things to play out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And these machines, these of course Xfinity Series machineries, they have very flat front and rear bumpers. Now we've seen races go to single file mayhem, like the Gen 4 race at Martinsville on, of course, 2 Thursday nights ago. Highline Racing League, they had a huge wreckfest issue. It was a lot of caution back and forth again. The Gen 4s don't take it too kindly if you bump and run. Here though, not as big an issue. So hopefully things get a bit cleaner. So we come back to the racing. 43 laps in of 150. Green flag will fly. Matthew Thunhorst leads the way with Justin Morton then in second. Just like that, it's going to be Matthew Thunhorst getting the jump once again. Already going to be some trouble back. Alec Daffin looks to be in trouble indeed. Yellow flag flies, and as soon as we catch up to him, he's at the rear of the field. Yellow flag is out for the third time, and a back-to-back yellow brings us back to pacing here with Alec Daffin's number 48 in the back of the field. Looks like no major damage, but it's going to be a spin either way. So let's take a look at what just happened here. Cautions continue to breed cautions, and the yellow flag's out once more. And Daffin's going to dive it deep in a 3, tries to keep it going, and he's going to go down to the bottom side of the track. Doesn't spin, but loses a lot of time, and that's a safety yellow once again. Luckily, in this case, nobody's going to get their machine destroyed. Everyone should be able to keep on going. Alec Daffin, the sole cause of that wreck, or caution, should we say. No real wreckage, but still, a lot of time lost and a lot of positions to get back, as Daffin now fades back into 23rd in his number 48 machine. Just like that, Matthew Thunhorst loses one more competitor up in front. It's Thunhorst, Morton, Michael Stroll, your top 3 45 laps in, and that's the way they'll run nearly a third of the way into the action so far here in Pensacola. And as the laps continue to wind down, no trouble in getting these laps through, even under pacing. They're pretty quick. 40 seconds under caution, about 20 seconds at the most under green flag action. So even if we go yellow flag after yellow flag, we're still losing a lot of time for these drivers to make moves, take chances, and gain positions. If you're getting stuck in this now and you continue to stagnate as the race goes on, you're going to be in for a very, very bad time. It's going to be much harder to get past as the race goes on if this is the way we keep on going. Caution after caution after caution is not a good thing to see, especially in this playoff race. There's many drivers still fighting on the edge. The bubble battle is as close as it can get, and like we saw in the Ignite series, the Octane campaign, they had a great run this season as they're wrapping up their full season schedule. Last season in the Ignite Series, it went down to the race at Iowa to determine who makes it in the Clash and who does not. And this season, we're seeing a bit more of the same. So take a look at our overall point standing coming in on a night, 9 rounds in out of a total of 15. And the bubble battle has some very well-known drivers in this field. You'll see up in front guys who are locked in, of course, such as the number 24 machine of Thomas Bressie, the class of the field all season long. Anthony DeBarro, who's been up there, multiple wins for him. If you got a race win, you're in a very solid standing to go in to our next round of action and fight for a championship all over again. But many other drivers are not in a similar position, and if you haven't gotten that win, it's a lot closer throughout the field. And looking at guys such as Gael Brooks, Justin Morton, Timothy Johnston, Travis McQuiston, Alec Daffin, and Cody Smith right now finds himself as the bubble driver. Kyle Cooper, though, Kyle in that number 73, is the man 5 points out. And then from there, you see Brandon Bernhardt and Casey Shue. So if you're within 25 points of the cutoff, you are not at all safe just yet. It's far from over, and every race from here on out will matter. Not only for the regular season, but if you sneak in, barely make it through, it's going to be a bit harder for you to keep on going when the remainder of the rounds come through. Bonus points are a huge deal, so even if you got what it takes to make it in, you've got to show you got what it takes to keep on going. Walk-off victories are the best thing for you, but with so many drivers and so many competitive drivers, victory is not something you come by often. Matthew Thunder's looking to get it done. Our former regular season champion 1 season ago leads us back to green. They come across the stripe this time by no issue. Chad Mike is now going to be fighting with Alan Dobbs, but otherwise everyone keeps it clean up in front. Further on back, side-by-side racing. Casey Shue going to be there with Kyle Cooper, and Boomer Logan getting right down to the bottom side, and Sean Carmody right there as well. Brandon Bernhardt and Nick Tarbuck all the same, fighting with each other, and Alec Daffin, after that issue that he just had, a self-spin down low, he's going to be already up into 20th, making it by Jacob Fife. Now looking to take a spot away from Brandon Bernhardt, as Bernhardt finds himself 19th after his scuffle earlier in the race. Caution flew for the first time with Brandon Bernhardt, the reason. Then from there, Alec Daffin is now the reason for the third and most recent caution so far in the action tonight. The Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150 brings you all the action here from Pensacola. It's Matthew Thunders from Justin Morton, Anthony Navarro, Michael Stroll, Blake Gordon, and Chad Mikas. So far, so good here at the Five Flags Speedway. I'll tell you this much, with drivers coming to the turn 3 very soon, how's about we take our drone camera for a spin and get back going across the track here in Pensacola. Half-mile circuit in Florida, home to the Snowball Derby, and a well-known late-model track with iconic names in racing coming through to take their victories and take their chances at the checkered flag. The field right now goes up the high side after corners, and back straightaway, you'll see them all coming through. The corners, though, you'll see the worn inside on the bottom. That bottom groove is the place to be. And as drivers come by once again, you'll see them almost entirely all down low in front of the packed grandstands of virtual fans. Now coming across the start-finish line again, Barney the flagman going to wave that green flag whenever necessary, and pit road is there too. Rowell's on pit road. The rest of your field is still kicking, and themselves up in front. Going back to Jonathan Gearvon, the final man on the lead lap. It's a very short track to take a walk through, half a mile, not much more else to it. As we come across this time by, that's our virtual track walk here from Pensacola's Five Flags Speedway, and take a look at the wilderness beyond. Only thing here is a racetrack with names and history right behind it. Take a look and situate our turn 3 virtual camera back to where it should be. Drivers are still flying by quick, and you can see the remainder of the field continues to keep on going as the night's gone on. Only 3 cautions so far, 59 laps in of 150. Matthew Thunders, your race leader. Justin Morton then second, and Michael Stroll going to be in third. Anthony Navarro is going to be in fourth, and Blake Gordon's then fifth. Not too far behind, Chad Mikas is now in sixth, and Thomas Bressie is in seventh with trouble on back. It looks to be Alec Daffin Daffin once again. Daffin fades back multiple positions, now down to 22nd. But Alec is still holding on, and despite some trouble weaving back and forth in regards to his placement, 60 laps into 150, the Shaw Racing machine is still on the track and still on the lead lap, so he's got time to make spots back up, losing 21st to Trevor Trago. Jacob Fife is now in 20th. Brian McFerrin, the only retiree of the race, just disconnected from the session, so trouble for that number 7 machine, too much to keep it going, and now it's going to be the number 8 of Matthew Thunderst leading them as the caution flies for the 4th instance, Trevor Trago the cause. And Trago only feet away from ending up like Brian McFerrin, the same spot he went down low to. Luckily does not hit anything this time by Trevor Trago. Yellow flag number 4. It's a safety caution. Nobody else involved, but either way, the yellow flag will still come out, and that exit of turn 4, once again, it catches another driver by surprise. Here's the instant replay showing you what just happened as Trago goes sliding, and luckily doesn't hit anyone as he comes down low. The yellow flag flies, and Trevor Trago brings out yellow flag number 4 on the day. 63 laps in out of 150 drivers come down to pit road. Once again, you'll see now it's going to be Matthew Thunderst, Anthony Navarro right down low as well. Justin Morton going to be now right behind. Not many drivers coming through this time. Looks like Casey Shue going to stay out. Blake Gordon, though, comes in, so a major split in strategy. 64 laps in out of 150. We're very close to our halfway marker, so if you want to make some decisions, now you've gone nearly half the race. You're getting a feel for how the drivers are going to act as the race goes on. If you want to make a gamble of it, if you want to change things, if you want to do it different, you do it here and you do it now. 64 laps in out of 150. The Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150 is now at lap number 64 with Michael Stroll back ahead. With Michael Stroll advantageous, the winner off pit road is going to once again be Matthew Thunderst with Justin Morton then right behind. Blake Gordon's now going to be 3rd off pit road with Thomas Bressie 4th off the pit road as well. To round out the top 5 coming through was Cody Smith, and he's just ahead of Rob Ackley. Thomas Bressie we have not spoken of much tonight, but that number 24 machine, as always, carrying our in-cockpit camera with his virtual reality headset connected to our systems here on FTN. Loading them up right now for the first time today. Thomas Bressie, you'll see in the bottom right of your screen his virtual reality headset going to be seen, and you can see not only, of course, the inside of the cockpit, but the head movements. This is as if he's inside the car in reality. The virtual reality aspect of sim racing is incredible, and right now, Thomas Bressie using it to the fullest extent to be as immersive as it gets. Bressie knows what it's like to get it through, and the number 24 machine is looking for what would be his 4th win on the season if he can get back up in front. Most recent win coming at Talladega, his 2nd win at Talladega in 2023. He's been the most successful man all year long. He wants to wrap it off with a championship when all is said and done this season around. So bringing us back to our action here up in front on FTN, it's going to be Michael Stroll, your leading driver. Anthony Navarro then going to be 2nd, and Chad Mikus rounds out the top 3 with Cody Griffin 4th, Casey Shue then in 5th, and Forrest Smith position number 6. They come down this time by, still going to be double file caution, so no call going to be made about going single file. We were given the indication if we have an excess amount of cautions, we will see them go to single file, but in our 4th caution, 68 laps in, it looks like we do not have enough yellow flags on the day to make that necessary. So good to see the drivers, for the most part, not having trouble racing long. We've had some good stints, just broken up by some unfortunate circumstances. Some absolute car busters like Brian McFerrin, some safety spins like Brandon Bernhardt, also including Alec Daffin, and even our most recent yellow flag, another safety spin as well. Luckily, nobody else is in harm's way as Michael Stroll leads us back to the green, 69 laps in out of 150. It's a nice lead there from Michael Stroll, able to jump out in front, leading the way with Anthony Navarro then in second and Chad Mikas then in third. Now it's going to be side by side between Mikas and Cody Griffin as Anthony Navarro goes down to the bottom side. He's going to try to look for the race lead. Navarro down the bottom, Michael Stroll in the middle, 70 laps in of 150. The caution flies again, yellow flags out, and this time it's a huge one. Jacob Fife, Thomas Bressi, not to mention Boomer Logan, and this might just be the big one on the day. Caution is out, and this is for the 5th time, so let's take a look back here. 3-wide racing. Boomer Logan looks to be the cause of this one as he came up the track at the top side with Bressi and Fife. He was up in front of both of them when the caution fell. So taking a look, Blake Gordon also going to get around. Looks like you'll see Boomer comes up the track, spins high, and just like that, drivers come rushing through. Jacob Fife is actually going to be inching toward after another wreck. So 2 wrecks at the same time bring out the caution. 72 laps in, out of 150. Taking a look at this here, Jacob Fife up on the top side, 36 machine for Pro Powder and Paint. Up there, front stretch, no troubles here, but the 3-wide racing comes back to bite everyone in this pack, and it comes back to bring your 5th caution of the day. 72 laps in 150. Bressy's going to tag Fife. Jacob goes spinning and just barely avoids contact. That's a very close call for Jacob Fife. He gets very lucky, and luckily for him, of course, he's going to get back going with Boomer Logan, Thomas Bressi, and it looks like Cody Smith and Justin Morton too, all involved. Not to mention Nick Tarbuck. Yellow flag is out, and a huge caution brings us back to pit road. Drivers coming down after the incident, and Michael Stroll maintains his advantage, leading the way 73 laps in out of 150. Now, thankfully for the guys up in front, no major issues up at the head of the field so far. That was the mid-pack. It still collected many drivers, many of which, of course, having some good pace, because now guys like Bressi 1 lap down, Justin Morton barely getting back on the way ahead of the leading drivers. Cody Smith also going to be there at the same time. This is a huge caution that shifts up the dynamic of this race, and after many small cautions, this one might be our biggest of the day. Multiple cars collected, and that's a fact, and while it wasn't as absolutely destructive as we saw from, say, Brian McFerrin or Alan Rowell, you'll see some huge damage now for Justin Morton. The back bumper is shredded. He's got nothing there on the rear end, and that number 9 has to keep on going despite the troubles. So Morton's going to be 16th, Boomer Logan then 17th, and 18th is Cody Smith. 19th is Trevor Treagle. Nick Tarbuck is then in 20th, and Don Stevenson now gets back on the way in 21st. Just like that, Stevenson's on the move and exits pit road accordingly, 21st, and the final man on your lead lap. Set to go back racing. Once again, it's going to be Michael Stroll, still your leader. Anthony Navarro going to be there in the 2nd spot, and Chad Mikas then in 3rd. And Navarro, your defending short track winner, once again at the head of the field. Now, winning at North Wilkesboro came with the price. A bump and run on the final lap, on the final turn, gave Navarro that chance at victory, and he was able to slide through with a checkered flag for his 2nd of the campaign. Now, of course, winning is a great deal, but at the same time, he came through with a 1-week suspension and had to return at Atlanta after a 1-week vacation. He's been solid ever since then, had a good run at Atlanta, but otherwise has been a bit quieter to finish off this regular season. One of the best drivers on this campaign, but he's still got a bit more to prove. We get into our playoff picture with dominating figures such as Thomas Bressi coming along ever since his departure for 1 week. Now he's back and he's got a load more competition to deal with. It'd be nice though to get this one victory to kick off the playoffs and get back into the mindset of winning a championship here. He won your last race of 2023A, getting it done for his first career victory at Charlotte, and ever since then, he's been one of the winningest drivers from that point on. 3 victories since the season finale of 23A, and in 23B, 2 checkered flags to back off that performance, the 300-mile race at Charlotte. Now this race is only coming in at 75 miles. It might be a short race, but he's still got big dreams of getting back in victory lane. Michael Stroll leads the field through, and we're backing away from Five Flags. Michael Stroll going to lead at the line yet again, 78 laps in of now 150, going on a 79. And so far, these leaders have been able to get away each and every time, but a bit less so for Michael Stroll that time through. DeBarro going to be on his back bumper, side by side, as the sun no longer going to be visible to these drivers. Matthew Thunderworth, Blake Gordon going to be right there with each other. Forrest Smith right there too, and the 73 machine of Kyle Cooper down to the low side of the Ford Mustang keeps it going just outside the top 5. Big battle right beyond your leading drivers. And 80 laps in at 150. They're all fighting hard for every spot they can get. Forrest Smith goes up high, and now all of a sudden the 84 inside the top 10. The shuffling has been abundant all night long, but one driver who's omnipresent inside your leading picture is Matthew Thornworth, but not to be outdone is Blake Gordon, because Gordon's now your leader on new tires. Blake finds himself up in front, and he's going to be in his 6th position. Not bad at all for this 13 team, who have proven to be aces, and whenever we go to a short track, it's this number 13 of Blake Gordon looking to fight up in front. Race winning potential for Gordon. Once again, he was oh so dominant when he came through at North Wilkesboro, not only for our race here in the Ignite Series, but in addition, he was fantastic when we went down to the All-Star race. He was not able to come home with his $50 prize, the grand prize for winning, but he led 80 laps on the day, the most of any driver in that 100-lap event. So 83 laps in out of 150 on 84. DeBarro leads the way. Cody Griffin then going to be second. Michael Stroll going to be third, and Blake Gordon then in fourth. Chad Mikas then going to be fifth right now, and there's going to be some spinning. Michael Stroll goes down low and brings out the yellow flag. Michael Stroll going to lose it from the head of the field, gets some contact on the way down, and the yellow flag falls. 85 laps in for Stroll, battling for the lead. Does not look like he's going to hold on any longer. Michael Stroll and the AC Delco team lose control, and the yellow flag is out for the number 38s. And after a dismal run in Monza, not at all what Michael Stroll wants to see on this one, as the AC Delco number 38 machine, shades of Alec Daffin, goes down low, exactly where guys like Daffin and Bernhardt went, and then hit Sean Carmody out of control. Michael Stroll loses it and finds himself now at the back of the field. Another driver losing it out of corner number 4. That fourth turn has been oh so deadly for these guys, and gets a front runner for the first time today. Only one retiree so far. Of course, Alan Rallo still on pit road in 23rd. A huge pack comes down to pit road, and just like that, pit lane is busy with DeBarro leading and Casey Shue becoming the winner off pit road just ahead of Chad Mikas. Then Cody Griffin not too far behind. So far, so good for this number 27. Anthony DeBarro going to lead the way right now in that number 27 team. DeBarro sliders sliding up to the top of the board with Blake Gordon second. Matthew Thunderworth then going to be third. Rob Ackley going to be fourth, and Alec Daffin then in fifth. Alan Dobbs, position number 6. Sean Carmody going to be 7th, with Jacob Fife 8th, Nick Tarbuck going to be 9th, and Boomer Logan rounds out in the top 10. And right now for the number 18 team, Cody Smith and Next Level Racing, position number 18. Next Level Racing having some fantastic runs as of recent. Your defending winner in the Octane Series at Kentucky, and Cody Smith representing the highest quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for all the latest information about the highest quality sim racing products, no matter what sim you race, no matter what discipline of racing. Next Level Racing's had you covered since 2009. Visit nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast, and we'll bring you back to the action after a brief promotional break, courtesy of our friends at nextlevelracing.com. Coming back now, 90 laps in at a 150. Anthony Navarro leads the way, and he finds himself up high with Blake Gordon on the bottom side. Set to go back racing with 1 lap to green here. Number 27 machine up top, 13 right down low. After another pit cycle, more division between the drivers who have taken stops and those who haven't. Navarro gets a huge jump, and Blake Gordon's going to drop back quick. Green flags out yet again, led by the 27. Anthony Navarro going to jump out once again. 91 laps in, a huge start for this 27 team. Blake Gordon going to be second, Rob Ackley going to be third, and you'll see Matthew Thunhorst in position number 4. Alec Daffin going to be 5th, Alan Dobbs then in 6th, and Jacob Fife going to be position number 7 with Sean Carmody then in 8th. Mick Tarbuck going to be position number 9, and it's going to be, you see, Casey Shue, Boomer Logan, Chad Amicus all going at it now as they keep it double file 2 by 2. Not bad at all between any of these guys. So they all fight each other up at the top of the order. Now it's going to be side by side and multiple lanes deep, but the leader of Navarro gets away cleanly and is a half second ahead of Blake Gordon, and then another half second back to Rob Ackley. So it looks like right now those top 2 once again get that jump start, and being in that front row is so essential, so critical of course, to making your way through from the front of the field all the way to the back. Get that clean air, you'll be in much better shape. 95 laps in here in FGN, but in addition, the Schumacher Racing League, they are live right now, and they're having a great race at Talladega. 40 laps without any caution, and it looks like they continued to have success under green. Green flag racing right now in the SRL Cup Series as they go to the Alabama No Bull 200. 2 great races in FTN at the same time. If you got some, of course, drivers you want to check out there, or if you got guys you want to get on this stream as well, back and forth, 2 great races, FTN doubleheaders on Mondays. No better place to spend your Monday nights than FTN Live here on Fireball Talks NASCAR. And we'll tell you this much, we are very excited for tomorrow night, not only because we have another doubleheader, and that's going to be the Highline Racing League Truck Series and the Octane Series, but in addition, we partnered with Daniel Falkingham and the entire crew over at North Force Racing to bring together an eNASCAR Contender Series ride. The number 39 machine live on eNASCAR will be representing Fireball Talks NASCAR all season long. Special thanks to Alexander Balderas for lending his advice and, of course, expertise in his own graphic design field and helping us out and making the perfect paint scheme for FTN, representing the brand. Daniel Falkingham, not only an incredible sim racer, but a broadcaster here on the channel. He did a lot of Road to Pro work for us in 2023, and we're so excited to see him chase a spot in the Coke Series, and hopefully that means we'll bring him back for those always epic Thursday nights of action. 100 laps in, the triple digits for Navarro. He leads the way with Jacob Fife, barely getting away from the big cluster. Side by side, you'll see Micus, Carmody, Casey Shue, and Cody Griffin. And for Sean Carmody, one of the many rookies this season, but of all those who have come and gone throughout the tour, I think Sean Carmody's been the best rookie all season long. Led some laps at Daytona, but overall he's been quite quiet since then. I don't believe that the results he's gotten so far on the tour have been representative of the talent he has inside of that number 40. Sean Carmody right now rounds out the top 10, fighting against the driver who's been on a hot streak of recent in Chad Amicus, and Chad goes down to the bottom side in the Bass Pro Shops, number 25, looking for a pass, and it looks like he's got himself room to go for 49 laps left on the day. Time is running out here from Five Flags, and Navarro leads from Blake Gordon, Matthew Thunhorst, Alec Daffin, and then Alan Dobbs. Top 5 going to comprise of drivers who have done things very different, and Navarro has not gone down to pit road in 74 laps, the most of any other driver today, and he's gone more than half of this race on this set of tire. Unbelievable work so far for Navarro. Despite the old tires, he's the leading man, but Blake Gordon is right there too, so keep an eye out for Blake as he remains in the back bumper of your leading man. 47 laps to go, down to 46. I don't know how much longer Anthony can hold on here. He's been on his run for nearly 80 laps so far, and that's longer than anyone else can possibly get, even if they go the rest of the way right now. DeBarro has been in full control. This restart getting a nice jump, and that's what kept them up there, and not too far behind. Blake Gordon still right behind indeed. You see Thunhorst, Daffin, Dobbs all working each other nice and smooth up and down the order right now. A lot of drivers running similar lap times. It looks like it's a 17-9 for your leader of DeBarro. Rest of the field is matching him, if not besting him. Best time on the track. And when they come across this time by, it looks to go to our man inside position number 5. Alan Dobbs runs himself a 17.905. Not a bad lap at all, only to be outdone by Casey Shue. That time by, Shue runs a 17.861, still faster than anyone inside the top 10. He's knocking the door of it here with Nick Tarbuck just moments away from being passed. Nick is going to see Casey go down to the bottom, and just like that, the number 4 machine for 213 Simware has himself on the bottom side looking to make a pass. And DeBarro at the line will take us down to lap 109. And as always here at FTN, Tango Paints representing lap 109 and all the action here on FTN as our official graphic design partner. From Tolo to the entire Tango Paints team, check out Tango Paints on Twitter for all the latest information. Prices you can't beat, offer starting at $50 per paint scheme for all your sim racing, paint scheme, and livery needs. Check out Tango Paints on Twitter for more information about how you can represent your sim racing identity. We'll be right back after a brief promotional message from our friends at Tango Paints on Twitter. Jostling back and forth up in front, Blake Gordon, Anthony DeBarro, Matthew Thunhorst, Alec Daffin, all going for the race lead, and they find each other first through fourth, separate by only 0.4 of a second. Fantastic racing so far with 38 laps left on the day. It's going to be live on FTN here with the drivers of the Integrity Ignite Series, and for those joining us for the first time today, the caution will fly for only what looks to be the 6th time. Jacob Fife backs it up into the wall, and the caution flies. Yellow flag is out with 38 laps remaining. Jacob Fife going to bring this one out. Some trouble for the 36 team. Boomer Logan, Brandon Bernhardt join Brian McFerrin in race retirement, but Jacob Fife with some back-end damage should be good to keep on going. We'll show you this one. Micus is going to get some tagging up, and it looks like Jacob Fife going to lose it up on the top of the track, spinning around in desperation to get going. He pins the throttle. Nothing else to say, and Jacob Fife wants to keep driving. He drives a bit too hard up top, and the yellow flag flies as a result for the Pro Powder and Paint number 36. The yellow flag flies for Jacob Fife, and 115 laps in, pit road is bound to get busy as drivers coming this time by. You'll see him in Matthew Thunhorst, Alec Daffin, and the like are all through, with Cody Smith just now entering his pit stall. The question is now, can DeBarro make it out first? Coming down to our pit exit, he clearly does. Then going to be Thunhorst, Blake Gordon, Alec Daffin, Alan Dobbs, Cody Griffin makes it through, Casey Shue is going to be in 8th, Rob Ackley's 9th, and then Kyle Cooper is then in 10th. So it's going to be a clear as day at advantage for not Forrest Smith. Forrest Smith doing something different though and staying out in front. It's clear as day advantage for DeBarro getting the new tires, and now even though he had to hold off on 35 lap older tires compared to everyone else, he doesn't have to any longer. He's got the advantage of having that new set of Goodyear rubber, everything he needs and then some, and if he was that quick before with the disadvantage, now level playing field might not be level for everyone else. DeBarro leads, going to go back to back when it comes to short track races. He just has to get by a Forrest Smith who just came down to pit road, and there we have it. New man on top, the number 27, back in the lead. And with DeBarro up in front, Matthew Thunhorse then in second. Third place going to be occupied by Blake Gordon and Alec Daffin. Then in fourth, Alan Dobbs will be fifth. Cody Griffin is sixth. Casey Shue is seventh. Rob Ackley's eighth. And Kyle Cooper is then in ninth. Rounding out the top 10 is Sean Carmody, and Chad Mikas is going to be 11th, with Nick Tarbuck 12th, and Trevor Trago then in 13th. Jonathan Giervon is right now 14th, with Jacob Fife rounding out your top 15. Thomas Bresci going to be mired back in the middle of the field after his incident, still inside of the top 20, but 16th, not at all where this team would like to be. Doesn't look like tonight will be another race-winning opportunity unless there's a miracle at the end of day. Now, DeBarro comes across this time by knowing what's at stake. A victory, of course, bonus points. Now with one lap to go on this yellow flag, we'll go back to green with 32 laps remaining. Now 31. Caution slightly extended. One more lap. And with DeBarro up top and Thunhorse right down low, these two drivers have been facing off lap after lap, and they know what it's like up in front late in the going. It can get risky here in the Ignite Series, and drivers are not afraid to make those moves, push and shove back and forth. North Wilkesboro was example enough for these guys. They know you cannot play around. Drivers come through this time by, fight for it once again, side by side. DeBarro and Thunhorse set to lead the field back to green for restart number 6 of the day. All things considered, a very clean race here in Pensacola. A lot of great driving, longer green flag runs, some early troubles, but ever since then, the early hiccups have led us to some great green flag racing. DeBarro leads us again. Green flags out, led by Anthony in the number 27. DeBarro's going to lead him this time by, and it looks like no trouble there. 121 laps in now. DeBarro leads from Matthew Thunhorse to Blake Gordon, Alec Daffin, and Alan Dobbs rounding out the top 5. Casey Shue getting to be 6th now, and Kyle Cooper then in 7th. Big breakaway single file up ahead. Justin Morton with trouble. He'll spin and go to pit road, so no caution going to fly as the leaders come around this time through. Cody Griffin finds trouble and loses speed immensely, but still no caution going to fly for him as well, as he gets it back going and keeps it on the move. It's going to be the Chevy number 3 of Cody Griffin getting it through. 19th position now as Cody regroups, and see the caution flag for Forrest Smith as the yellow flag is out now for the number 84 with 28 laps remaining. Forrest Smith involved in his second yellow flag of the day. Caution flag coming out this time by. It's going to be Forrest Smith the cause, and you see right now fighting with Thomas Bresci, and it all goes to madness as he comes through turns 3 and 4. See what happens. And it looks like it's just going to be overshooting the corner there, driving it deep, and the yellow flag going to fly as a result. A safety yellow, another driver making contact with the pit entry wall, and it's been such a devastating corner for everyone trying to make time up on the front stretch. It happens once again and catches another driver. So now it's going to be DeBarro, Thunhorse, then in third, Blake Gordon, your podium with 26 laps remaining. As I come through this time by, down the back straightaway, it's going to be Anthony DeBarro up in front, 27 machine going through as the leading man, going for win number 3 on the campaign. Then Matthew Thunhorse going to be 2nd, Blake Gordon going to be 3rd, and Alec Daffin through and through in 4th as well. Alan Dobbs going to be 5th, and Casey Shue going to be 6th right now. They're set to go back green with 1 lap to go, but it's going to be another extension here to make sure everyone is back with the rest of the field. Justin Morton retires as a result of his incident, although there was no caution for Morton. Still going to be detrimental to his night, and he has no choice but to exit the cockpit and leave for the day. So the yellow flag with 25 laps to go comes out again, and DeBarro leads him through with Thunhorse not too far behind. Top competitors still racing as this is our 7th caution of the night. As they come around this time by, choose rule not going to be put into play here, and looks like still waiting for the caution to get going as Jacob Fife is now with us just outside the top 10, Fife 13th, Thomas Bressi 12th, Nick Tarbuck 11th, and Trevor Trago then in 10th with 24 laps remaining. Sean Carmody going to be 9th, and Chad and Mike is then in 8th. Kyle Cooper is 7th here, and it's going to be Casey Shue then 6th, Dobbs 5th, Alec Daffin 4th, Blake Gordon 3rd, and to see your top 2 all over again. Still a total now of just about 20 drivers on the track. It looks like Alan Rowell is still on pit road, 118 laps down. He's been on pit road for 50 minutes here, but has not given up, so maybe there's still a chance for him here. He's on pit road, waiting to get things going. Once again, DeBarros going to see with 23 laps to go. We are going to be under caution next time by, so usually, we crank it up with 22 laps to go in here in FTN, but that might not be the case given the circumstances. Either way, with 22 laps to go coming up very, very soon, it's TrackCams22.com, the highest quality iRacing camera provider for all of your necessities, be the tracks, be the cars, over 100 combinations of all you need for iRacing camera work. If you're a broadcaster, if you're working sim racing photography, the best starting point to go with is TrackCams22.com. Visit TrackCams22.com or their Facebook page at Facebook.com/TrackCams for all the information about iRacing's leading camera provider on the platform. No place to go besides TrackCams for Gordon. And we'll crank it up with 21 laps to go instead of 22. Crank it up courtesy of our camera partner here in the Ignite Series, DeBarro, Thunderist, 1st and 2nd this time by. Blake Gordon's the man who rounds out the podium as we're set to crank it up with restart number 7. Green flag flies, led by DeBarro. Let's crank this up from Florida. In front of two-man battle with 16 laps to go here in FTN. It's going to be the Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150 with 2 men up in front dominating this final run. DeBarro, Thunderist, 1st and 2nd, and they're coming out of the wire here. Let's see if they can make it through first as there's still 15 laps to go to settle this one in Pensacola. At the stripe once more, DeBarro's got the edge, but not too much separating him and Thunderist right now. If Matthew just gets a lunge in and gets enough room to get to the back bumper, you know things are going to get much more hectic with the finale of this event coming down to the final few laps. And as they come through this time by, DeBarro is going to be, of course, the first man. Thunderist is going to be 2nd, Blake Gordon then 3rd. Daffin is 4th, and Casey Shue is then in 5th. Top 5 guys separate now by only 1.2 seconds. Dobbs is going to be right now 6th, right behind Casey. And the top 5 looking very good so far to continue running away. Single file now for the most part, if not the entirety of the field, save for Thomas Bressi. And we'll look inside the cockpit of the number 24 here as he fights in the middle of the field. As they come through this time by, it's going to be, of course, the number 24 machine of Thomas Bressi. He's here in the mid-pack, not used to that feeling of being inside the middle of the pack as opposed to leading, and he's struggling now on that high side. The Exalta 24 right there on the top as they shift lanes once again, trying to make some passing, but still very troublesome. And you'll see the midfield struggling no matter who you are to make passes. With Stevenson going down low, Don is going to save it, and that's how you make a pass. Wait for other people's mistakes. Anthony Navarro leads the way now with 10 laps to go on the agenda here. And with 10 to go, we'll take you to your final Next Level Racing promotional break of the day and get that out of the way. Next Level Racing provides high-quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast for more information. We bring you back after this brief promotional break, courtesy of our friends at nextlevelracing.com. And the yellow flag will fly with 5 laps to go. Nick Tarbuck going around, and the caution going to be called with Casey Shue. Chad Mikas all getting into each other, and the 29 pulverized with Cody Griffin. Casey Shue also gets a beating as well, and that's going to bring us down to our final stretch, an overtime finish to kick off the extra laps. It's going to be a 2-lap dash to get us in to the checkered flag. DeBarro's your leader, Matthew Thunhorst in second, and now with all our promotional breaks out of the way, Nick Tarbuck disconnects from the session, and there's very few drivers still up to the challenge here at the head of the field. The pit road very empty right now. Looks like nobody opting to go down to the bottom side to pit road. Just like that, it's all track position from this point onward. Going to be a total of 2 laps to get this one done. Green flag, of course, green, white, checkered. We hope to finish under green. It is still possible to finish under green, but it is not guaranteed given the situation we are currently in. Now, the rules of our green, white, checkered formula here on FTN and iRacing as a whole go as follows. Here in the Ignite Series, we have ourselves multiple attempts to get this done. Now, usually it's a typical of 3 here, so if you can use those 3 attempts, you've got a lot of leeway. But in this instance, say there's only 1. You have your green flag lap, which is when you get back going with 2 laps to go. If there's a caution, depending on the circumstance, you either extend the race once again or you send it further. Now we have 3 attempts to work with. This is the first, so we can extend the race twice over in case there's anything more that happens after this race is conclusion. Now, I was saying it's going to be the conclusion because lap 150 was set to be the end. That's no longer the case. If anything happens before the white flag, then we extend the race for up to 2 more attempts, and after that, race is over no matter what. Yellow flag, checkered flag, does not matter. Whatever's the final lap to get to, you get to it, and no matter how you do so, it's going to be a done deal. Now, here in this instance, the white flag is the be-all, end-all. If you make it down to the white flag, and we'll get down to that white flag with 1 lap to go, then you're in good standing, of course, to go till the end. Checkers are reckless. If you make it to that 1 lap to go signal, then it's a done deal. If you don't, it's an extra yellow flag again at the maximum. But with how fast 2 laps go here in Pensacola, just over half a minute, the odds we even get to that point are slim to none in themselves. So as we get through this time by, DeBarro and Matthew Thunhorst up at the head of the field. Alec Daffin, Blake Gordon, 3rd and 4th. They have not yet won this season, so they're looking for something, a first of their own. Don't expect them to lay it easy here on the leading drivers. Your front row knows what it's like to win the Ignite Series. Your second row, still doesn't. It doesn't mean they don't have the talent to. This is their chance to break through, get that win, and we might just see some different driving for the field as we have 2 laps to go with our first overtime attempt of the day. And the home of the Snowball Derby, providing a spot to race at here. The 9th round of the Ignite Series, the Octane Series, is tomorrow. The regular season, its penultimate race here in Pensacola. And we're hoping not to see a demo derby at the home of the Snowball Derby. Green flags out for our first overtime attempt. DeBardo leads them, 2 laps to go. Up in front, Anthony DeBardo has it out in front indeed, leading now by 0.2 of a second. We're set to get back to the white flag with a troublesome spot. Yellow flag is out for Daffin. Alec Daffin brings out the caution, and we are going to go to our second overtime attempt of the day. Alec Daffin, Shaw Racing number 48, will spin and bring out the caution. Instant replay on the matter will show you what happened here. Just hundreds of feet away from the white flag, and it all goes down the drain for this first run, and Alec Daffin's chances go from a possibility of getting it done to now a possibility of finishing in the top 10. Daffin slides up top, and Alan Dobbs there too. That brings out the caution, and so with 4 laps to go, we are back under pacing, lap 154 of 156. So another chance to breathe and get set for the action here in the Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150. And Anthony DeBardo has gone through more than 150 laps now, and he understands what it takes to lead, and now what it takes to win. The goalpost being pushed a bit further for what will be your second overtime attempt of the day. The sun continues to shine here in Pensacola. Track temperature of 92 Fahrenheit as opposed to the air temperature of 79 Fahrenheit, so there's a not major difference, but it is a clear difference of over 10 degrees here. And as time continues to pass by, the sun is soon setting as time is set to be at 2-speed here in iRacing. So for every 1 hour on the track we've had, the climate and the weather all changes by 2 hours worth of a difference. So the track continues to cool down. Now the track temperature down to 91 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is moving down and was up at the triple digits earlier. Now hardly hitting 90 as the shade continues to cast on the track. We've seen some blotches of clouds coming through and blocking the sunlight. Now with 3 laps to go this time by, it's going to be an overtime finish, a second overtime attempt to seal the deal in the Ignite Series and do it all over again. If you've enjoyed the action tonight on FTM, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. It's been a fantastic night of racing, not only here in the Ignite Series, but in the Schumacher Racing League at Talladega, as the Alabama Noble 200 finds itself now with only 7 laps remaining. So surely 2 great races, and if you enjoyed them both, be sure to leave a like on both streams and subscribe. Your support is immensely appreciated, as right now 7 laps to go in the Schumacher Racing League, and they're having a thrilling fight to the finish there. We get to have our fight with the grassroots short track racers. DeBardo down low, Matthew Thunderst up high, 1 lap to green this time by, and time to do it for the final lap of action. This should be your final laps. Second overtime attempt, still a chance it isn't. We'll have ourselves at the conclusion of this race at lap now 160. DeBardo, Thunderst, Blake Gordon still going to be first, second, and third. Chad Mikas, just weeks after his best finish in his Ignite Series career, a second place at Atlanta, now in a second row, looking to fight for it at a short track. If he bumps and runs, who's to say he doesn't come through with the win himself? He might not be one of the guys you're looking at right now. The top 2 is clearly the best combination of 2 drivers, but it could be someone else outside of your front row. Now the unpredictable comes to meet with the most expected, and we'll find ourselves a victory. Now, time to see whether or not the juggernauts get it, or if the drivers, far out of contention now, make their way through and drive as hard as it gets. Overtime attempt number 2, DeBardo leads them, 2 laps to go. This time by, Matthew Thunderous gets a much better jump at the start. That might be good enough to keep it side by side at the white flag. 1 lap to go this time by. They make it official, and DeBarro leads them at the line. Matthew Thunderous then going to be second, not too far back, and Blake Gordon there in third. Pushing and shoving, we might see through 3 and 4. DeBarro's got the edge. Thunderous could make a lunge, drops it down low, puts it through 3 and 4, but it's no use. Your defending short track winner comes through once again, and Anthony DeBarro gets it done in the post-victory formation podcast 150. Clean finish till the end. DeBarro wins. It's his 3rd of the season and his 2nd at the short tracks in 2023B. DeBarro's a winner again and will come down to the start-finish line to celebrate all that he's done in another commanding winning effort. How about we turn our drone camera around and get things going to watch the celebration. Anthony DeBarro gonna get back into victory lane, and time for this number 27 to celebrate yet again. As DeBarro continues to burn down the house, taking it for a tear-down lap in reverse, taking the track backward and shredding it all the way. And the motor blows. Celebration might have been a bit too much for the engine, but at least it made it all the way in the racing. Anthony DeBarro gets it done and will win from the Five Flags Speedway, coming through this 3rd win of the 2023 Tour. As DeBarro limps to a halt, the 27 out of power, out of steam, but not out of victory lane. Anthony DeBarro gets it done yet again. Checkered flag will fall, and time to see your overall race results before we bring you your top 3 interviews for the day. DeBarro, of course, your race-winning man, and the number 27 machine is back on the top of the running order. By 0.3 of a second, Anthony DeBarro will win from pole sitter Matthew Thunderous, with a Blake Gordon in 3rd, Chad Mike is 4th, and Kyle Cooper, your race sponsor, coming through in 5th. Going to be Sean Carmody 6th, and Alan Dobbs 7th, with Trevor Trago 8th, and Casey Shue then in 9th. Going to be Jacob Fife rounding out the top 10, Don Stevenson 11th, and Cody Smith then in 12th, with Thomas Bressie position number 13. Alec Daffin's going to be 14th, and Forrest Smith is in 15th, with Jonathan Gearvon 16th, Rob Ackley 17th, and Michael Stroll in the 18th spot. 19th is going to be occupied by Cody Griffin. And to round out your top 20, Nick Tarbuck in the number 29. Justin Morton's going to be 21st, with Boomer Logan 22nd, Brandon Bernhardt 23rd, Brian McFerrin 24th, and Alan Rodwell 25th and last, 152 laps down. Most of your field able to make it to the end of the race. Still one of attrition, and one where it took quite a lot to get to that end to begin with. 2 overtime attempts, double overtime to wrap it off here in Pensacola, and another winner in Florida. This time a short track, half miles of work, and Pensacola sees Anthony DeBarro come through back-to-back winner here in the short tracks. The number 27 will get it done, and DeBarro is back in victory lane. Number 2017, been waiting for this one, of course, after suspension from North Wilkesboro, back on top. Anthony DeBarro, victory lane from the Five Flags Speedway, short track winner 2 times running this season. How do you feel?
I feel lucky, honestly. I worked pretty late tonight, and I got maybe 5 minutes of practice before qualifying hit, so I was just kind of learning the first couple runs, and the cautions just absolutely felt perfect for me. So I mean, I'd say the top 10 guys, you put any of them out front, pretty much would be the winner there, because it was pretty difficult fast. Really fun though. Get some good side by side racing. Um, it was really loose into three. You could run, like, you could take the outside too. I had a blast tonight. It was very challenging, and those last couple restarts, I was really having to focus because Matthews put me on a lot of pressure.
The pressure was on in those final 2 restarts, overtime finish, and those are always exciting here at the short tracks especially. You know what it's like to be on the other end of this one, but this time defending with the lead. What were your expectations with the final 2 laps in mind?
It's hard to say with short tracks, but I mean pretty much all night it seemed like up front we were racing. Everyone was racing really hard, but really clean, and that was awesome, and it was just cool to bring home. It's like I don't think I was the fastest car. I think Matthew was a lot faster than me. I just happened to get lucky with them coming to get tires, and the cautions fell at the right time when they were pressuring me there with their fresher tires, and we got on the same tire there, and I had the track position, and again the cautions fell at the right time. So I mean, it's a lot of this deal is getting lucky, and I got lucky tonight.
And everything works out. Another victory on the campaign for Anthony Navarro. And you've been, of course, no shortage of victories ever since your breakout at Charlotte last season. This team's been able to keep it rolling, and the playoffs are now very, very soon. Now, we have one more race before that regular season concludes after a night here in Pensacola. We'll be heading next to, where else but Nashville SuperSpeedway to finalize our regular season. You're firmly inside the playoff picture, so no worries there. How's it going to be like approaching the final race of the regular season?
I mean, just pretty much try to get that bonus point for halfway, and see if we can put ourselves in a position to get some more bonus points for the playoffs going in, and just build momentum, have a solid day, and just because the playoffs are going to take consistent finishes. I mean, it's going to be risk versus reward. Taking some of these risky moves that you could get you in bad position, and then you're having a bad finish, and one bad finish to put you behind the 8 ball. So you got to be more consistent and get to the final couple races.
And consistency, as it's been all season long, will continue to be key. Anthony Navarro once again consistently inside the top 3 in victory lane. Yet again, the 27 comes home with the win here in Pensacola. Anything else you'd like to add after this race?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys look forward to, even when I don't make a race, working late or whatever it may be, looking forward to watching the broadcast. You guys do a fantastic job, and all the admins behind the scenes, and Jacob for putting this whole deal on for us to come out here and have fun.
And there we have it, coming through with another short track victory. The number 27 and Anthony Navarro get it done here from Pensacola. Thank you for your time. Navarro on the move, the 27 gets it done, checkered flag, and a second consecutive podium for Matthew Thunhorst and the number 8 crew. Getting it done with the second position, it's Matthew Thunhorst and the number 8 runner-up here in Pensacola. Short track racing after a trip to Italy, and you're once again inside the top 3. How do you feel after this one?
David, it's one of those. Second place is good, and we're still popping off really good top 5 finishes and all that, but just Navarro got the better of me there. I really wanted it. I just couldn't make it stick to his outside there, and good hard racing there at the end. It's just really wanted a checkered flag, and this one was one I had circled for possibly doing it, and I just kind of lost control through the way the pit strategy worked, and and it didn't help either that Navarro was just fast. I mean, he held me and Blake off when we were both up there racing hard, and he was smart about it. He was good with the car positioning, and it's just he was racing too good there at the end, and so. But, made some ground up on Bresci on the season-long championship, extended or not the season-long, but the season B, and, got a shot maybe to be the points leader going into, depending on how we all work out in Nashville, and extended the season-long. So I'll hang my hat on that. It stinks not getting wins, but, when you're popping off top 5s, and the one bad race I had is my internet deciding to be a little fickle, I'll take it.
As I mentioned, continuing the good run of races as of recent, this number 18 is, of course, pushing hard for the playoffs. Another chance at the championship. We're looking at our playoff standings for all the viewers here. You're firmly inside the playoffs once again. The Clash, you'll be inside of it no matter what. But Nashville, one final chance to get any more bonus points and keep the fight alive, not just for the first round, but until we get to that championship race to end the 2023 season here in the Integrity Racing League. So how big is it for a successful finish at Nashville to wrap off the tour here in the regular season?
It'll definitely be huge, I think, to get some bonus points there, try to lock up getting the season long, or at least lock up getting second. With that not being a drop race. It's I don't have the bonus points like I did last season from wins and halfway wins. So pretty much everything there is just going to be on points position. So getting every point I can there is going to be valuable because I believe it's Kentucky. I'm not the best at, and California I'm pretty good at, but it's just it's always that worry getting through the first round because I look at that kind of second round of the playoffs and I'm feeling pretty good there about those tracks. So but at the same time, it's just going to be one race at a time. Got to focus on Nashville, but at the same time too, I'm locked into the playoffs, so that's a good feeling. Just making sure I don't try to go for too much and just make sure I keep I either get first or I just make sure to lock up. I think the 15 points for finishing second in the regular season. So just try to get what I can, but also make sure not to shoot myself in the foot in the process going for too much.
And already firmly inside the playoff picture, another successful run for Matthew Thunderst, chasing down a regular season title 2 seasons running. Anything else you'd like to add after night's race in Florida?
Yeah, it was. I hated seeing what happened to Bressie and Justin as we got caught up in the back there, but overall, it's aside from I think that one kind of big one, that was a pretty fun race, a lot of good racing there. So we didn't reoccur what happened at Wilkesboro, so it was a lot cleaner. I imagine it was a lot better viewing. So just want to appreciate Though Fall and everybody at DMG United for coming on the car for the last part of the season, and everybody who watches and everybody who helps put on the Integrity Night Series and the sponsors and everybody that helps us. And you, David, and everybody at Fireball Talks for putting this on and just bringing this to everybody who watches. And just as usual, thanks for y'all watching. And I think the point situation between me and Bressie got pretty tight for this point season championship. So you probably don't want to miss that one to see how that plays off because there's still a lot of fight for. I imagine there's going to be a lot to see who gets into the playoffs or not. So thanks for all watching tonight, and hope to see you next week because I imagine it's going to be quite the barn burner down there in Tennessee and Nashville.
And hoping to keep the fight in this team alive, Matthew Thunderst, another podium finish for back-to-back weeks, this time grassroots second place in Pensacola. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David.
With Matthew Thunderst on the move, one more driver to mention tonight in your top 3, Blake Gordon, who's always good at these short tracks. Tonight the results will show it for the Endeavor Racing number 13. It's Blake Gordon inside the podium today, a third place finish for the 13 crew, and we've seen you very solid at these short tracks, and once again, a very good run, podium finish here in Five Flags Speedway. How do you feel?
Good, man. Finally get a break into the top 5 for the first time this season. Had a lot of 6s, 7s, and 8s, and this was definitely a track I was excited to come to. Always enjoy the short tracks, and was able to finally get up there and actually finish one of the top 5 for once. Feels good.
Getting a top 5 finish, we've seen a lot of pace from this team all season long, and tonight everything works out in executing till the finish, but it was by no means a totally calm race. We saw chaos at the end, some big yellow flags, and some trouble all throughout, so definitely a night to keep an eye out for all the factors that could have gone wrong, but luckily you kept it there, good strategy, and able to avoid all the incidents. How was it managing the short track chaos that we regularly see no matter where we're driving at?
Luckily, not a lot of it happened near me. There was definitely one lap where I think it was getting a little loose off of 2, washed up the track a little bit. I think, according to a teammate, it kind of had a netcode issue with Fife, and that kicked off, I think, a wreck behind me. And then there was a separate wreck in 3 and 4. 29 slid down the track and hit the gas and got underneath them, and I think he took out the car behind me. So that was really the only close call tonight. Didn't qualify too well. I managed to get back up there with track position on just a different tire call there, and I knew Anthony and Matt were going to be super fast and better than me, so I just wanted to get up there behind them, and I felt like I could stay there and did.
It looks like able to hold on till the finish here. Blake Gordon, this number 13 team, still fighting to make up points before we go on to our playoffs. One more regular season race, the Nashville SuperSpeedway. This team's been showing much more speed as of recent. What's it going to take to maybe push it over the edge and secure a spot without much to panic of?
Well, I think the good news is the 4-way tie in 7th. I think I finished the highest out of all of them. So that's a plus. Nashville SuperSpeedway is probably my least favorite track on iRacing. Absolutely terrible there. So if I can just come home with a top 10, maybe a top 8, I'll be happy. But I'm also expecting way worse than that. So we'll see what happens. And then obviously when the playoffs come around, just got to turn it up a notch and get some good finishes.
And hoping to keep these good finishes rolling, Blake Gordon finds himself inside the top 3. The 13 Dudes Wipes machine gets it done here, 3rd place in Pensacola. Any final thoughts to wrap off this event?
Just the standard stuff. Thanks to you for doing the broadcast, the admins for putting on the show, and everyone else. We had a really nice, clean race up at the front today with Anthony, Matt, and everyone else. So it was good to see. Had a lot of fun, and we'll see y'all next week.
There we have it. Blake Gordon rounds out the top 3 here in the Five Flags Speedway, 3rd place finish in Florida. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, man. Have a good night.
And for Blake Gordon rounding out the top 3, it's Gordon, the 3rd place finisher, to round out your podium ceremony. From there, it's going to be Matthew Thunderson 2nd and Anthony Navarro. Then your winning man for the 3rd time this season, the 27, gets it done. And just like that, only one more race left in your regular season. It's going to be the Nashville SuperSpeedway. Keep an eye out for next Monday night, as it's going to be Nashville leading us into the playoffs from there on out. The 2023 season close to its end, and we've had some fantastic racing all year long. And now with DeBarro, Brest, Thunderson, so many of the top talents already locked in, the playoffs are still not a done deal. There's many drivers still fighting to make it through, and they're all going to find themselves going at it in Nashville. Music City going to come alive, but tomorrow we'll be racing at Homestead, Miami, not only on FTN, the Octane Series, but the Highline Racing League heads to Kentucky for the Kentucky Derby, as the Truck Series takes on the Kentucky Speedway for the 8th round of the Season 2 campaign. Great to have you all once again live on FTN. I've been David Kreutz, producing and commentating all the action. If you did enjoy tonight's broadcast, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support is always greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation of the Integrity Ignite Series and the Post-Victory Formation Podcast 150. From all our studios here at FTN to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's racing action, and we hope to see you all whenever we're live again on FTN. We thank you for your immense support on the channel, and we hope you all have a fantastic night. Schumacher Racing League is still live. We'll send you there right now to wrap off the racing there. I believe they're on to their top 3 interviews after a thrilling night in Talladega, so we'll see you all there in the Schumacher Racing League. Thank you all for watching, and stick around for the next broadcast, which you'll be immediately sent to right now.